done with the solid waste management. Okay, pengurusan sampah lah because every day we produce our waste, okay, in our daily life. So basically this chapter is on the how we manage our solid waste. Solid ni benda yang kira sampah lah. Okay, in Malaysia it's very important for us to know because we are quite much contribute to the waste. Banyak sampah yang kita hasilkan. So the levels of recycling in our society is, I can say, moderate. Okay, ada juga yang buat tapi masih lagi not really high like the developed country like Japan, right? And also the European countries. Okay, mereka memang kita tahu they have a very good system in order for the recycling center and so on. The management is very good. Okay, kita sampai mana sampai is more on the management of the solid waste. That's on the dump site and also the landfill, because in Malaysia we still use the landfill as our main disposal method. Okay, if in the country that have a small area, basically they will use incinerator. Okay, like in Singapore, all the domestic waste from the house they will send to the incinerator. Incinerator mean they burn the waste. Okay, in Malaysia, because we still have the land space, okay, that's why we still use the landfill. But in future, I believe that maybe everything will convert into the incinerator. One more thing, because incinerator is very expensive in terms of equipment, and also our waste usually they are very high in moisture, sangat basah. So tak sesuai lah untuk kita incinerate. Okay, that's one of. So for today I will continue with the landfill okay, for the disposal method. Okay, yang ni saya rasa you all tahu. Is there any question regarding to this chapter on solid waste before I proceed? Haus pula. Ada soalan tak? Kalau tanya sentiasa tak ada Tapi I hope that everyone is okay and understand so far about the subject. Okay, yang ini, okay, about the integrated solid waste management. First kali yang kita perlu tekankan, okay, our priority is to reduce the source yang ini. So reduction is a must. Jadi maknanya if we can reduce as much as we can about the waste, so we can actually minimize the waste disposal kat sini, at the landfill. Jadi kuranglah sampah yang akan kita transfer to landfill. Okay, so saya pun ada share with all of you last week about how the Australian did or manage their waste basically to prevent the source reduction. Ada macam-macam cara lah. There are lots of the platform that we can send our some valuable items yang masih lagi boleh pakai to charity center kan saya sebut kan last week, like Good Semi and so on. Depends lah, the charity basically is for disabled driver or for some, what do you call it, for pet and something like that, for animals rescue and something like that. And we also had the what we call the Sunday market run by the Rotary Club. So most of this waste management to reduce the source of waste by the charity organization. Okay, so that's a very, good example. Okay, and then this is at landfill. I will explain about what is the mechanisms of the landfill management. Okay, and then as we know that we need to do always this as a habit. and culture, always recycle and do the composting, yeah, from our waste. Okay, this is basically the landfill, right? Is the design itself is like this. Tak ada network eh? Dengar tak suara saya? Network petani macam tak baru bagus. Saya dah tekan.
Dengar suara doktor.
Dengar. Tapi yang ni tak okey. Kalau saya terkeluar, just in case, let me know ya.
Okey
Sebab ni
doktor.
on off Kejap ada, kejap tak ada. Okay, so this is basically the sanitary landfill. Sanitary means they provide all of these facility with treatment system. Okay, treatment system kat sini means, okay, licit. What is licit? Anyone who wants to answer about what does it mean by licit? Ada siapa tahu?
Leakage is the contaminated water in landfill.
Tak okey petang ni tiba-tiba pula. Okay, let me repeat again Tadi siapa yang nak jawab on licit?
Saya.
Okay, silakan.
Leakage is a contaminated water in landfill which is drawn out by pumping system from inside the landfill to be treated at an adjacent water treatment plant.
Yes, that's correct So, keluar pula. Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Okay, that's correct. Basically, it is the liquid comes from the waste daripada sampah tu air laut resap. So this is a very dangerous liquid or solution because it carries all the hazardous waste. And then this leachate, if we didn't treat it very well, it can go into the water bodies and disturb our water supply quality. So this is our main concern leachate. Leachate kat sini So basically leachate must be treated under treatment system by using some secondary biological treatment like what you have learned in wastewater. Konsep dia sama. Jadi maksudnya kita ada aeration, then we can do the treatment by using this biological treatment. Right, and then after that we can pump it out into this storage tank, and it can go into this piping line to go into the water bodies. Mari kita akan discharge into the river lah. Okay. So basically this is the state of the art of the sanitary landfill. Sanitary landfill means they must provide the sanitary or the treatment process. Basically the treatment leachate for leachate treatment, and then they have the piping to exclude or what you call it, to collect the methane gas, right? Sometimes the methane gas also can be captured for electricity. Yang ini perlukan cost lah, of course. And then leachate, lepas tu apa lagi And then this is the liner for the compacted solid waste kat sini. Okay. So here it is lah, the concept dia. So this is examples of the Bukit Taga sanitary landfill. So we call it as the third sanitary because it contains surface water management plan, leachate management plan, and they have also monitoring for in terms of environment. Okay, and then early warning and emergency containment system So which is very good. Okay, in Bukit Taga also they have this renewable energy center which they capture the methane gas for electricity. Kat sini So ini kita, if you maybe one day have an opportunity to go the site visit, or maybe in future, or maybe have the opportunity to work with this type of the renewable center, that would be good Examples are from the landfill, we can get the resource recovery. Okay, and this is the examples of the landfill gas to electricity concept So we have this gas extraction wall, gas to plant, and this is the utility for the substation and how it can generate the electricity. Bukit Taga tu kat mana Siapa tahu? Bukit Taga. Saya lupa dah. Ada siapa tahu? Di Selangor Selangor di mana ni? Selangor je lah. Okay. Di Selangor So it must be generated from the waste generated from the memang Bukit Taga lah nama dia. From the urban area lah ni, KL Selangor. And also in Bukit Tagah, they have this solar project to generate the electricity, and also, okay, that one is sanitary. Okay, sanitary means they provide all this treatment system for gas, for leachate especially, air yang keluar daripada sampah lah. But also we have another type which is non-sanitary, only dump site. So this is very much concern on the environment because they don't have provide any treatment for leachate and also for the gas capture. So very dangerous, this type of landfill. So dump site means everything dump into this landfill. So the leachate can flow into the water system, groundwater, and also the water source. So even for the runoff can go into the surface water. So like this. So it actually happens to many of our landfill system in Malaysia, unfortunately. Because one of my project in Siparenggam is looks like this, but after we did our monitoring on water quality, provide the sufficient data, so the authority give a very much concern and they revise, and now they have provided the treatment for leachate. Okay, so this is the landfilling methods for deposit the solid waste by using the truck. Okay, so they must every day they must cover the material up to 20 to 30 centimeter, and according to the solid waste management. Okay, kalau dekat in Batu Pahat we have a sorting waste. So every truck they must pay to the what you call the contractor that manage the landfill, ya. Tak ingat berapa, tapi ada dia kena bayar according to muatan je lah. Okay, this is how they depositing the solid waste. And this is the photo of the how they spread the waste, do the compacting, okay, and also the covering. Okay, after a certain layer, they must do the covering. Okay, this is how they do this excavation trench in order for the waste to be deposited in the certain area. So we can have the excavated trench or cell, also the area method, and also we can build like a canyon or depression method. So like this. Okay, this is how we can provide the cell for as like a container for the waste to be deposited. Okay, and then this is the excavated trench. So that means for the daily cover, we must compact it like this. And then this is the area method. Okay. And then there are some certain of the consideration needs to be considered. For example, terrain not suitable for excavation. Terrain ni dia macam levelnya. High groundwater level not suitable for this area method. Okay. And so on. This is the area method. So it's like having the side fencing like this. So this is the daily cover macam daripada bawah. So something I mean the safety also need to be considered. For canyon, it's like we put like paddy hills like this, something like that. It's like this. Okay, layer by layer. This is the canyon type landfill. Looks okay, good, but you know, like such a beautiful hill like this is quite unfortunate. Okay, so this is the method for the canyon. Okay, how this is the landfill and also the runoff for the seepage. This is the groundwater contamination. So the potential of the groundwater contamination can be occurred like this because of the leveling, and also the surface runoff. So we need to be careful. Okay, so this is examples of this landfill lifetime or area required for the new landfill. You can see from this example about how we can calculate the hectares or area of the landfill. Projection life for 30 years, and for this population, so how much? Okay, given the density and height of the landfill cannot be exceeded of 15 meter. So we need to calculate the density, okay, the volume of the landfill, and then we can calculate over for the 30 of years, over 30 years, the volume required, and then from the volume we can divide into the height of the landfill, 15 meter. So we can estimate that the area that required is 78.4 hectares. Okay, so this is how to calculate the anticipated life of the landfill. Alright. So given this community population and generations of the waste every day, 2 kilogram per capita. Per capita means per person. So 10 hectares landfill are available. Average compacted depth of 8 meter limited by local topography. So compacted refuse is our waste. We'll have unit weight of this one. And 20% of volume will be taken by carbon material. So what is the anticipated of the landfill life? Okay, dia punya jangka lifetime ya. So we need to calculate the weight of the generated refuse or our waste, solid waste in a year, and then total volume, and then a volume for carbon materials, and total landfill volume required, available amount, and then we can calculate how much is the lifetime of the landfill. Okay, same with this one. I think same like before about the landfill. Alright. The consideration is like this, landfilling methods, and then this is the landfill gas that we need to what we call that emit, because it's very dangerous. It has contained lots of the methane gas, and then the layer for the what we call it, the cover must have these materials, geocomposite granite layer, HDPE geomembrane liner, and compacted clay. This is to avoid the leachate directly infiltrate into our groundwater and also the water supply. Okay, and we must have also the leachate collection pipe to the wastewater treatment plant. So the leachate collection pipe will be transferred to the treatment system in order to do the treatment. So in the treatment system, they must have the aeration, and also the biological microbe to degrade the organic matter. Okay. So in Malaysia, we have certain certificate, what we call that, classification, and also the standard that we need to follow before discharge into the water body. So the landfill operator must adhere to all of these requirements by the departments of environment. Okay, this is the cross-sectionals of the landfill. First must have the 1 feet sand protective layer cover. Kemudian ada geotextile liner. Must provide the leachate collection pipe. And then followed by the geotextile, ada geonet and HDPE liner. So this layer must be designed in order to minimize the leachate into the groundwater. Kat bawah tadi kalau dia masuk dalam sistem groundwater is very dangerous. Okay, this is the liner. Liner is like this. Okay, during the landfill development, we must install the landfill liner first. So the landfill liner must have the geomembrane for the hydraulic barrier, geosynthetic clay liner, compacted clay, and also the geotextile for cushions and also for the aspiration. Okay, so it looks like this during the excavation and also the installations of the liner. It's like a baseline ataupun cover to cover especially the landfill leachate. Okay, the liquid from the solid waste, from this all of the domestic waste. Okay, is there any questions so far? about the landfill. So the most, let me repeat So the most important thing in the sanitary landfill is the landfill leachate treatment system, itu kena ada, and also the gas extraction well. Okay, gas is very important. It's either you want to release it or the landfill has the facility to convert it into the electricity like this, or renewable energy like this lah. Okay, piping for the methane gas and so on is very important, and also the leachate. So in order for us to prevent the leachate, what we call leachate pollution, okay, or leakage, we must have provide or during the design must have this liner, okay, leachate, cross sectional for the leachate drainage layer, this one, okay. So we must provide this, the geotextile leachate collection pipes. Okay, this is the leachate collection pipe, and then we must having this geotextile, geonet, and also HDPE liner. So this is the standard, okay, for the landfill development. Okay, then next is about the leachate, the major concern for the landfill. Okay, so the successful of one landfill is in order for them to manage their landfill leachate. Sorry, ini. So this is very highly contaminated because it comes from the solid waste, okay, that be dumped into the landfill. So we must draw it up by using a pumping system inside the landfill. So to be treated, must be treated first. Because as you can see here, the composition, the chemical is very high. BOD 4,000, 1,000, bukannya 100, Yeah, usually for the BOD of the wastewater can go for 400 milligram per liter, but leachate itself can go up until 4,000 to 20,000. Very high. COD 5,000 to 30,000 milligram per liter, the concentration. Volatile suspended solid 3,000 to 800 yang boleh meluap, yang boleh terbakar. Total suspended solid yang terampai 500 to 2,500. So there are lots of the particle in the leachate sample. So this is the photo of the leachate collection pipes, and also they have this gas escape pipe also as well. If we are not release the gas, it can, the problem is the landfill can be explode because due to the high pressure of methane gas. Okay. Then this is the leachate collection pipe, and then this is the leachate recycling. Okay, leachate also can be recycled. Even it contains high concentrations of TDS, total dissolved solid, BOD5, COD, nutrient and heavy metal. But by using the treatment, we can do what we call that, the wastewater can be reduced. Okay, the hazardous amount can be reduced by using certain advanced technology. Then we can also recirculate for like this. We use it back as the, what we call that? We can use the pump, the collection pump, and we can recirculate into the waste at the top. Okay, so they recirculate again for this landfill waste in order for maximize the treatment. Okay, next for the leachate treatment, we can have this. Usually the common treatment is by using the aeration pond, aerated pond. That's the common one and also the very cost effective. But it depends. Sometimes the landfill actually accepting the waste from the industrial or maybe from the hospital. So the type of the treatment facilities must actually depends on the type of the variables and also the strength of the contaminants, like this. So in here examples of the leachate or landfilling method or leachate treatment. Okay, integrated means they have what we call it, various or few system to make a whole treatment system effective. For example here, looking kat mana ni? Sini. Sekejap, discharge line kat sini. Okay, then you can go into the leachate collection part here. Then we can go into the three clean filter. Clean filter usually we have this, or you call it certain rock or bed with certain bacteria to degrade the organic matter. Then we can go into this aeration tank or collection tank, and then we can also have this gravel bed channel. Okay, here. As like a filtration by using the coral sand like this, and then go into the wetland with the certain vegetation which can be able to remove certain organic compound or heavy metals by using these certain plants. They can absorb or beets ni ialah rumput by using these plants, mostly the species is reeds. And then after that, it can go to the biotype of certain micropipes, hidupan dalam air, and then they store it into the reservoir, simpan air itu. Then it can go into the groundwater or we can discharge into the water supply, into the water bodies. So this one integrated ni lebih sustainable. Okay, because they have several process. Usually kita sampai sini saja, we are up until here, but by using this several treatment is very effective by using the integrated leachate management system. Okay, then the gases. Okay, this one we need to do the collection and also must remove it. Okay, but we can recover, macam saya kata lah, we can recover for energy, opportunity to sell. Usually the common method is like this. We can just do the destruction. Kita bakar dia with the thermal destruction, the methane. So the methane will be burned with the other gases. The other is okay, sama je. Okay. The other is we can capture and do the methane gas will be transferred into the grid line for the electricity. Okay, this one is the landfill cover configuration. This is more on the geomembrane liner as a barrier layer to limit the entry of the surface water, and also for the landfill gas, especially to reduce the amount of leachate. So you can see that this is the surface water drainage facility, which it can provide the storm drains, the culvert, the ditches, and also the subsurface drain. This is for the surface water management drainage to make sure that the drain, the water can be what we call that, store or the discharge is properly managed. Dia nak buang kat mana ni, we need to have this proper, dia punya channel drainage system dia. Tidak, dia akan kita terperangkap, stuck kat mana-mana. Bila air tak mengalir, there's going to be real problem ya. Water stagnant kan. Okay, next is about the public health and safety, of course, because the landfill is having lots of the risk to the human health. Okay, when we deal with waste, solid waste kan, something that unwanted, bayangkanlah from the food waste, from the hospital waste, everything that we dump into our bin, then collected by the worker, laborer ya. Sebenarnya if in Japan or developed country, their commitment or their job is highly respected ya, compared to Malaysia. Because it's very important. Kalau tidak, siapa nak uruskan sampah? Kan? Kita nak bawa ke landfill kalau mereka tak ada. Okay, I know that this is kind of their job, but I think their work is very important in our daily life and also the activity. Saya kena buang kejap lah ni. Bising. Sekejap Saya punya apa ni? Masak. Saya buang sekejap. Okay, saya share balik. Okay, semua nampak About the safety. Apa tak nampak ni? Okay. About the safety, so they must nampak tak? Tak keluar. Okay, so they must having these protective clothes and boots, okay, air filtering head and gear, gloves and so on. Even for the vaccine is very important. Tapi bila saya tanya itu dekat pekerja di landfill, tak ada pun. Mungkin sekarang dah ada lah because we are in the pandemic or endemic situation ya. Okay, then this is the completed landfill that should have in the for the landfill operation. So gas vent to remove the gas, we can is either we do the flaring, maknanya kita burn the methane gas, or we can having the connection to the bulb. Okay, so the especially the leachate landfill, kita ada landfilling the waste, okay, and then kat bawah ni paling penting lah, the filter layer, ada leachate collection layer, leachate collection pipe, we have the clear liner and also the leachate removal pipe, and this is the HDPE to protect the waste for every not being leaking, and the leachate cannot be filtered or transferred into the water body or to the environment. Yeah. Okay, examples of the closed landfill. Actually, to close the landfill is not easy. They must provide the safety requirement and also how they manage the leachate. Leachate itself can take about few years for them to be stabilized. The leachate, leachate tadi is very high contents of the hazardous waste, right? So we need to stabilize the landfill leachate before you can make the fully closure of the landfill. So this is the examples of the before closed landfill and after. It's like they provide or they have these developments of the PV solar facility on the closed landfill because of the land space kan besar kan. Examples of the landfill that turned into the golf facility like this in the US, and then the landfill that become the national historic landmark, like a historic places. And most of them, they turn the landfill into the golf course. Okay. And this is, for example, the Madison landfill. And this is in Pajam landfill, where the closed landfill turned into the solar farm, 8 megawatt. And this is the Aitam Sanitary landfill that now become the worldwide landfill park, becomes the jogging track, bicycle track and playground, and also the exercise area. Previously it was a landfill, sanitary landfill, tapi dah tutup ya. This is the Jelutong landfill. Okay. So any question regarding to the landfill, leachate, gas management, and anything? Ada tak? Kalau tak ada, then I can proceed with the next is on the schedule waste. So what does it mean by schedule waste? Sisa berjadual. Anyone?
Chemical yang bahaya.
Yes, chemical, dia sangat bahaya. As you can see here. So from where we can get this chemical?
Factory or industrial?
Yes, industrial, factory, lagi hospital. Basically itulah yang besar-besar. Kalau kat rumah tak ada, kita still hantar ke landfill. Even kalau dekat sekolah kan ada lab, betul. Dan juga di universiti also we have lab. In FCAP we have lab deal with chemicals, like in my lab. Lab saya pun ada banyak chemicals. Yeah. So these are the potential contributor to the schedule waste. Saya tahu lah sebab saya lab mostly reagent, got lots of chemicals and reagent, yeah. So to handle the schedule waste is very difficult. We need to make sure that everything must be in order. They have even in the university, they have the system, okay, to track the disposal of this schedule waste. Kita kena follow lah. So everything, if the researcher or the PSM student wants to use the certain chemical, we need to do the checking the MSDS. Okay, material safety data sheet. Nak tengok dia punya level tu, which one? Okay, is it toxic? Is it the chemical that we want to use is explosion? Can explode? Corrosive ke? Like acid kan? Corrosive. flammable material. So yang ni pun kena tengok. Not only my lab, tapi banyak juga yang menggunakan other chemical like geo punya lab kan. Pun saya tengok banyak juga tu, highway ke construction ke, highway lah especially kan. Okay, then solid waste means they are waste that readily can catch fire or sustain combustion. Sama ada it can be an oxidizer, dia ada maksudnya bila dia jumpa dengan oxygen, it can oxidize. Or it can be flammable compressed gas. It could be paints, cleaners and other industrial waste. And ignitable waste from the liquid form ya. So adalah karakteristik dia. Waste acidic or alkaline, corrosive, like a sulfuric acid and so on. From the automotive, battery. Toxicity and something that can pose a threat to human and also to the environment lah. I can summarize like that. Toxic. Okay, let me ask you do you think that the battery kan, because in our daily life we use quite amount of battery, is it scheduled waste or not? Battery kita ada 2A, 3A right? Kan? Jadi dia sebenarnya kategori apa? Siapa boleh jawab?
Rasa schedule waste.
Yes.
Tidak ke ya? Tapi kata
Ya ke doktor?
ya. Sebenarnya ya. Okay, sebab tu masa saya dekat Australia, anak saya pergi sekolah primary school kat sana, public school. Belajar apa belajar ada yang ada the second one dah ajar tadika, abang dia dah year one ke year 2 macam tu lah. Bila saya hantar anak sekolah, dia ada dalam table cikgu dia ada table dalam dekat desk cikgu dia ada letak satu macam bekas collect battery. Benda tu macam wajib ada pula dekat sana saya tengok. So bila saya tengok dekat situ sebenarnya memang dia dah ajar daripada kecil lagi anak-anak ni, battery tu you cannot dispose into the bin. You need to collect it into the right way and then send to the center. Battery battery ada kandungan nickel cadmium. Ini bahaya. Okey, jadi dekat sini kalau boleh bateri tu janganlah buang mata rata. You can collect. Tapi saya tak tahu kat Malaysia you can send to certain waste facility or what? Ke tak ada? Sebenarnya tak boleh kan dia ada still contain certain metals kan. So itu pasal bateri lah. Okay, then what's this about the treatment for the scheduled waste is by the incineration. Incineration ni ialah by using the combustion so that it can make become less hazardous and less bulky. Ini lebih kepada treatment, for example from the clinical waste. Kalau kat Malaysia ni last time I went to the Pantai Mandi West center ke apa tapi basically they receive the clinical waste or from the hospital waste. Okay, yang warna kuning tu kalau you perasan pergi ke hospital kan ada bin with the yellow bag, right? That one is actually for dispose or for incinerate. Dia punya dia lain lah, dia cannot send to the landfill. Okay, so this one almost 99.99% destruction and removal efficiency. But the problem with the incineration is due to the certain gases that release basically from the hazardous gas lah. Saya lupa dah nama dia, nanti saya share balik Okay, so this is the benefit of the incineration, boleh baca sendiri. And then this is the burning or process of the incinerator ni dia punya ni. So the temperature must be over than 1000 degree. Okay, nanti dia akan bakar lah semua. So kalau dekat hospital kita tahulah syringe, blood, organs kan, ubat-ubatan, the drugs and everything, yang itu tak boleh lah hantar ke landfill sebab dia bahaya sangat. So we must incinerate, kita kena burn dia. Okay. And then this is by using ada two type of the incinerator. One is the moving grade and another one is the rotary clean. So dekat sini the waste can be insert into this chamber. Kita panggil sebagai rotary clean, and then the waste they akan burn into the maximum of 1200 degrees Celsius. Then they have this secondary combustion to what to make the second combustion, and then they have to filter the fly ash to the backhouse. This is like to filter the ash. Or another one is the fluidized bed, like this. Okay. And okay, another treatment for the scheduled waste is by the solidification. They make it solidify. Macam mana cara dia? Kita mixing waste tu with the spilling agent and modify their physical properties. So in here we can do like what we call that solidification for certain product like brick, itu boleh lah. Okay, tapi we need to make sure that their physical properties and also the waste properties must be what we call that inert, dah tak ada lah, tak ada apa-apa dalam tu. Okay, then this is examples of the secure landfill to dispose of the scheduled waste. Okay, certain waste from the, for example, from the certain chemical or from the certain hazardous waste, after they are being treated, they can dispose into the landfill. Yang ni boleh. Okay, in Malaysia, we have the one company that handle the scheduled waste. We call it as a Quality Alarm Management Center under Same Bio Company. Yang ni lah sebenarnya yang collect all the hazardous waste from the lab, okay, from the, kalau kat ni saya nampak memang we need to deal with them, the company, to collect our scheduled waste or hazardous waste kat sini. So the center has the license to handle 76 categories of the 77 scheduled waste, okay, under the environmental quality for scheduled waste. So it's like a one-stop center under the concept of cradle to cradle. Boleh kita nak lupuskan daripada lahir sampailah dia dihapuskan. So in here, the secure landfill, we have this the quality alarm, have this waste generator to the waste management center kat sini. So they have the several facility for the treatment of the scheduled waste, depends on the type. Okay, incineration. Okay, lepas tu pergi hantar dia punya abu dia ke secure landfill. Okay, ataupun dia must provide the physical and chemical treatment first, and then after that they can do the solidification or stabilization treatment. It's either they go to the landfill or making a new product from the waste, or in a waste ni they must having this special disposal like this lah, secure landfill. Ni yang paling bahaya, toxic Okay, itu saja about the scheduled waste. Dah pukul 3 dah. So, ada soalan tak untuk solid waste and hazardous waste or scheduled waste? Tak ada So kalau tak ada, then we need to proceed for the project presentation lah. Is it okay? For group 7. Tapi saya nak kena download kejap So boleh ready dulu. Group 7. Sambil saya buka ni juga. Download your report. Okay, one more thing about the chapter 8 and 7, 8 and 9, 8 dan 9. I already upload in the author. Chapter 8 is about the air pollution. Semua teori teori. And then last chapter 9 is on noise pollution. Semua dapat tak? Dapat dalam author. Okay, so group number 7. Group number 7 mana? Zulfairi, Lee Ziking, Lim Yuki, Mukri dengan Nur Adila. Are you ready? Ready dah? Okay. Oh, pasal landfill Okay. Very related.
Okay, good day, Doctor. This is section 1, group 7, with the project title of Landfill Operation and Technology. And here's our group members: Li Ziqing, Noor Adila binti Dila, Lim Yuqi, Mukri bin Moktaki, and Jufari Zafri bin Zakaria. So we will pass for Jufari untuk introduction.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zulfairi Zahri bin Zakaria. My matrix number is CF200187. Today I will present about the introduction of landfill. Landfill is site of the disposal of waste materials. Landfill function for reduced contamination, allows the collection of leachate to prevent odors and rodent problems. The decomposition process produces methane. Leachate also product derived from municipal solid waste, worldwide pollution control, and must treat properly before it is discharged to water. Next. This is the advantage and disadvantage of landfill. The advantages is landfills are an excellent energy source. Modern landfills are eco-friendly, keep cities, towns, and districts clean, keep hazardous waste segregated. Landfills are cheap. Landfills support jobs and local business. The disadvantages is landfills are partially responsible for climate change. Methane lights up easily, contaminate soil and water. Landfills affect wildlife. Accidents can happen. Landfills affect human health. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mukri bin Mazuki and I will continue with the literature review. Based on the previous research about leachate, there were 101 of the 190 compound examined, and the final leachate samples consist the concentration ranging from 2 nanogram per liter up to 70,200,000 nanogram per liter. For the landfill gas, the nitrogen and hydrogen decrease, and the most of the gas in landfill is made up of 55% methane and 45% carbon dioxide. There are two things that will be reviewed, which is Galleria malonella and natural fibers for leachate treatment. Next. The first one is Galleria malonella. Galleria malonella is known as wax moth caterpillars, just like in the pictures. In the previous research, it found that some insects have the ability to chew and devour plastic package. In a research that was done by Bombelli, the result found that the caterpillars can destroy a PE film within 40 minutes. There was also a mass loss of the plastic bags when it get in contact with the 100 caterpillars. Then, in the FTIR studies, it concluded that the Galleria malonella can break down the chemical bond of PE, and the digestive tracts of insects are suitable as PE degrading microorganisms. Next. The second one is natural fibers for leachate treatment. In a research, it found that landfill leachate could be treated with natural fibers intercropped with advanced oxidation process (AOPs). AOPs in the first place were suggested as a way to treat potable water in 1980s. The AOPs can purify water by making enough hydroxy radicals. The leachate treatment involved two oxidative stages, and each stage were assisted by natural fibers. Example, the palm fiber. The palm fiber has thinner layer of lignin, electrostatic attraction in natural or cellulosic fibers. The result shows that the reduction in the surface tension and increasing the contact surface both contribute to better result in the leachate treatment process. That's all from me.
Okay, teruskan. Ada orang tak ada? Chris.
Dengar saya tak?
Dengar.
Doktor, saya guna Chris punya laptop boleh?
Boleh.
Saya punya laptop tiba-tiba tak boleh ni.
Okay. Siapa ni? Okay, teruskan.
Tes. Yuki dengar tak?
Dengar.
Okay. Okay. I present about the methodology about our project. There are two methods of our study which are qualitative, which research, past research, and quantitative, conduct questionnaire among students, UTHM students. For questionnaire, we are conducted for 50 students of UTHM, and questionnaire are divided by 5 parts, which is A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, next. For part B is the question to obtain about the knowledge and awareness about landfill. Most of the respondents are aware that landfill maintenance is very important for the human and the environment. Respondents also aware that leachate from landfill will affect the water resource such as river, seas, and lake. Supported by the past research which stated that solid waste from landfill affect water quality by releasing leachate from landfill into water source such as river. For part C is question about the practice in daily life. Respondents do not practice distributing the type of waste by category before disposing the garbage. Next, from the questions that have been distributed, the respondents are agree that statement said that government recycling campaign does not have an impact on the community. The Star 2019 stated in the news that about 60% of the 32 million of Malaysians fail to throw the garbage into the rubbish bin and also recycle bin that are already provided for them. Some of states actually like Johor charge 20 cent in supermarket to reduce the usage of plastic. But it's just 20 cent, right? There are still some kind of people are willing to pay for 20 cent for plastic bag. So for it, it's not so implemented lah. The more material you use or you throw, the more energy you use to sourcing and processing the raw materials. It produces emotion. It also potentially methane releasing waste out of landfill area. There are some respondents are living at the housing area that affect the landfill management. So we know that the response that we collect is actually from them who is affected. So for part D, next. For part D, question about factor that influence the efficiency of the landfill. More than half said that Malaysians are unaware of the impact of the poor landfill management on the environment. But the respondents stated that actually Malaysians are aware of the garbage disposal. Maybe it is because the media masa now so much focus on recycle campaign effect the plastic to the environment, how long plastic will decompose, but there is no awareness actually about landfill. Maybe ada but sikit kot. Sebab for me I never see about landfill punya awareness di TV. How plastic will affect landfill, how landfill affect the environment. So I think so sangat sikit. Thus, the different respondents also agree with statement that stated that the policies and regulations established by the government are not implemented. Although Malaysia is among the developing countries, they are not denying that economic problems still occur. For example, Malaysian face problem to upgrade the landfill due to lack of budget and expensive land price in Malaysia. So for part E, how to improve landfill in Malaysia, the respondent agree if emulate the country that will waste manage like German, Malaysia need to work together to support the practice the recycling campaign implemented by government. Government need to prepare budget to upgrade the landfill and Ministry of Education should take mandatory to every educational institution to have recycling bin to educate the student. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Miyuki. I will continue the presentation with the discussion part. So according to the Houses as Local Government Ministry, Malaysian landfill still insufficient to observe the quality the rubbish they create. So there are presently 141 solid waste dumps in Malaysia. So ISWM is stand for the Integrated Solid Waste Management, which is a modern and statically method to solid waste management. The proposed garbage management process plan will be able to hand out to the 800 tons of the multiple solid waste per day. So ISWM is defined by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) as a comprehensive waste reduction, collecting, composting, recycling, and dispose system. So AMP reporting with the automatic solid technology it increased the recycling rate in the US. Besides that, the conversion of the landfill gas to energy the project in US
in electricity generation, direct use the medium BTU gas application into renewable natural gas evaporation of the nature minimize the environmental impacts. So the main factor is the knowledge recycling workforce. So next. So, okay. So for the first step of ISWN is reduce and reuse for the at the source. So uh, this can reduce the cost for the resistant business and local activity. So as they do not collect a lot of waste. So the pollution generated in waste transportation and the landfill is reduced. The advantage three is can save the earth and save the energy. So for the disadvantage is it is can affect healthy of the worker who is work in recycle industry and do not be careful with the chemical will export at the transfer station if not managed properly. So the product that produce can only work for a short period of time. So the the government must cooperate with other reward and motivating people who are collect the garbage and waste management schedule must understand and accept the notion of the stability in the waste management sector. So in the budget 2040, the government enhanced the tax incentive of the green technology to encourage more integration wastewater management system. So for the okay for the problem will be faced for the next is
Okay,
the
please go to the conclusion.
So just proceed to conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry. Also for the conclusion, the proper landfill management, advanced landfill design and technology maximize the benefit of landfill and minimize the environment, the social and economic impact. The issues such as technical, economic, environmental and social issues will affect the sustainability of municipal solid waste to energy to minimize the landfill waste volume. So from our study, from our survey conducted, the low public awareness of landfill adverse impact and involvement in recycling and waste prevention practice of daily life. Individual communities and government should unite to eliminate the landfill trash and strive for more sustainable waste management, or else, no matter how large the landfill, it will run out of space. So that's all for our conclusion, and this is the minute meetings of our project. This is all about our project. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Lee, and also the rest for from the group 7 for your presentation. Yeah. Okay. So far okay, but you don't have any interview with the expert from specific landfill, yeah?
Yeah, sorry, because
Okay,
we cannot contact the representative.
okay. Then about you said about the low levels of recycling, yeah? From the survey, but I saw in your survey you didn't ask for the recycling how many of them are actually apply the recycling, ada tak? All about the landfill, but because you have mentioned about the conclusion kan, cuba tengok conclusion about the recycling awareness very low. From where you get that data? Cuba tunjukkan your conclusion.
Sorry.
Okay, your conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Low public awareness of landfill and involvement in recycling. Involvement in recycling, yeah. So did you ask in survey?
Cost from the do not practice the distributing the type of waste by categorizing before disposing of garbage. And
Doktor,
Yeah.
kalau nampak dalam report kami untuk metodologi part C, I have stated from past research Fauzia 2010, their participation in sustainable waste management through the reduce, use and recycle approach is severely lacking.
Tak, from your survey ada tanya tak?
Ada kaitan saya ada mention berkenaan dengan uh, recycle bahagian
Tapi the individual itself, how about they practice the recycling, tak ada kan? Just jadi very general lah buat the government recycling campaign berkesan atau tidak, kan? Because for me the landfill is very important for me for us to know about the how many waste can be sent to the landfill. Okay, if the community is actively practice the recycling, so it can give what we call that the effect on the amount of the waste can go into the landfill. Okay, then my another question is about the your technique, yeah, technique the by using the improvement of the landfill by using the Galleria melonella. What is that? Cacing eh? Can you explain what is that? Caterpillar.
It's a caterpillar, doktor.
Untuk apa tu?
Dia untuk apa ni, untuk menghancurkan sampah-sampah plastik.
So ini contoh buat kat mana ni?
Ni saya tak ingat kat mana, tapi saya jumpa dalam research yang telah dibuat oleh apa ni, yang Bombelli punya satu research.
Okay. Tapi tak tahu kat negara mana eh? Okay, rasa tu saja for group 7. So ada banyaklah lacking sebenarnya in terms of information ya. For example, it's very good if you can, because the conclusion ada kan about the recycling awareness. Dia kata low, tapi bila saya cari data dia tak ada pun, very general. Ingatkan you buat individual punya data survey, at least tanya you buat tak recycling at home ke kan, as a practice, daily practice. Okay, and then I think if you can get the second opinion, not necessary kalau the waste management center or landfill tu, I know it's very difficult to get them. Pekerja pun tak apa kan, pekerja yang hari-hari collect sampah pun okay. That's my comment lah. Then about the information, very good information on this caterpillar. Tapi tak berapa clear je lah kan, from where, so that we can in Malaysia maybe we can propose so that this caterpillar to degrade the microorganisms. Okay, but the rest is good. Your survey, you did the analysis and presentation is also okay, good. Yeah, so that's all for group 7.
thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, next group 8. Silakan. Sekejap saya buka dulu unit file.
Sorry Doktor, boleh nampak skrin saya kah?
Sekejap eh. tak nampak? Okey, sekarang nampak.
Nampak.
Tutup dulu. Okey, sekarang okey.
Saya mula
Grup ni grup 8
Grup 8.
Okey. Okey, boleh.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to our lecturer, Dr. Adimaya and all my fellow friends. We are from Group 8 and today we would like to present our group project entitled Clinical Waste Treatment in Malaysia. First of all, I would like to introduce our group members, which are Daur Rashidi, Hishamuddin, Kevin Chai, Neziayu and me myself, Nur Saleha. Without wasting time, I will continue with the introduction. Clinical waste is waste that commonly defined as a type of waste that has potential to cause any infection or disease. It's also waste that generate from the healthcare service or any medical centers like hospital, clinic, veterinary, and including laboratory testing and experiment. It also waste that expensive, inconvenience, and possible dangerous materials. Our problem statement is clinical waste is one of the most serious issue in our country because our healthcare industry generates a lot of clinical waste and must be managed properly, especially during pandemic like COVID-19. So the common problems are differences in developing technology advances, system and design operation, for clinical waste disposal, the absence of waste management and disposal system, and inadequate training of waste management. Our main point or objective in this project is to understand the proper handling and control of clinical waste, to identify the technology and instrument used in the management of clinical waste, and lastly, to evaluate any potential environment impact from the generation of clinical waste. I will proceed to the next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Hishamuddin and I will continue with the literature review. Okay, I found that the clinical waste is now collectively referred to as a healthcare waste, which consists of expensive and problematic waste that is potentially dangerous. Okay, including about 40% of the total solid waste output from acute hospital. This may be responsible for more than 60% of disposal costs. Okay, as we know, from the clinical waste will affect the environment. Okay, negative effect on the environment include river pollution, human health, air pollution, and soil contamination. Okay, since COVID-19 outbreak, at worst, if the positive patients may test kit or PPE not immediately isolated, it can result in other individual being at a high risk of being infected if touched. Okay, actually that have a few technology used in the disposal of clinical waste like incineration, autoclave, landfilling, microwave, and many more. But in Malaysia, we use incineration and landfilling. Um, Incineration is a high temperature oxidation process that produce ash and smoke after consuming a waste material. This method reduce the amount of waste and reduce the space of waste disposal. Okay, for landfill are simple and inexpensive approach for the disposal of waste. Actually, after incinerating, the net place to get rid of it is to dispose of it. Ash is one of the unwanted incineration product. It is placed in a landfill. Okay, next. Okay, for Google Form analysis, there are 56 respondents filled in Google Form. 87.5% know the definition of clinical waste. For question 3, most the respondent, which is 33.9%, thinks that infectious waste is the most dangerous type of clinical waste, and 48.2% state that hospital is the major source of clinical waste in Malaysia. Okay, next. Okay, most of the respondents agree that amount of clinical waste is a waste increase after COVID-19, and 58.9% think that the level of effect clinical waste to environment and human health is very high. 39.3% state that infectious disease is the most harmful effect of clinical waste, and most of the respondents thinks that the incineration is the most efficient clinical waste treatment technique in Malaysia. That's all for me.
So my name is Kevin Chachisian. I will continue the Google Form analysis. So according to the result, most of the respondents think that clinical waste treatment technique in Malaysia is not better than overseas. And they think that the level of clinical waste technique in Malaysia is high. 46.4% of the respondents think that incineration is the most efficient clinical waste treatment technique in Malaysia. Next. Most of the respondents think that it is necessary to improve the clinical waste treatment technique in Malaysia. And I think that applying the overseas clinical waste treatment technique such as autoclave, microwaving, and 3R is the way to improve clinical waste treatment in Malaysia. Next. So for the interview, we have an interview session with Muhammad Fazil bin Wahab, which is the Assistant of Environmental Health Officer. For the first question, what types of waste are known as clinical waste and why managing clinical waste is important? So clinical waste is any waste consists of every part of human tissue, blood, body fluids, pharmaceutical drugs, medical materials such as syringes, questionable equipment that can treat to anyone who handle or direct contact with the equipment. So clinical waste treatment is important because it poses a hazard to the operator and around and the surrounding people. If the clinical waste treatment is not carried out, it will affect the level of public health. So next question, what is the steps and procedures of handling clinical waste treatment? So first, waste segregation. It will identify such whether the waste is clinical waste or domestic waste. If it is clinical waste, it will identify whether it is contaminated or not contaminated. If it is contaminated, it will identify which is sharp or non-sharp. If it is sharp, it will put in the sharpening container. If it is non-sharp, it will put in the yellow clinical waste bag and go to disposal. So next question, what is the current technology to handling clinical waste that used in Malaysia? So the technology that is commonly used in Malaysia, there are two, landfilling and incineration. So the most common method in Malaysia is landfilling because the cost for incineration is high. So which of the technology is the best method for medical waste treatment? For landfilling, the advantage is low cost, but it needed a large space. For incineration, it doesn't require a large space, but the output is more perfect and complete because it can burn the waste into dust and smoke, but it is high cost. But if Malaysia can afford it, incineration is a better method. So how the public can help in solving clinical waste issues? So the government have the campaign for waste disposal such as glass, paper, and plastic. Public should try to support the campaign and make the garbage segregation according to the categories. So the waste from the patient COVID-19, such as tissue and food containers, should be separated from the other waste and sterilized first before throw it away. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello, Tess. My name is Daud Rashidi. So I will present about the solution. As we already know, for the past 2 years, the COVID-19 outbreak has spread around the globe. The clinical waste treatment at Malaysia facing
Okay, sorry. Tadi saya disconnected. Sampai Kevin tadi. Ni saya pakai phone. Sebab line ni teruk line ni. Okay, teruskan.
One of the solutions to fix the problem is by updating current disposal method. Malaysia widely use the landfill disposal method to dispose the clinical waste. The landfill has many disadvantages, such as the landfill release gas into environment, such as methane gas, ammonia, and carbon dioxide, that was dangerous for environment and health. By updating the current disposal method from landfill to incineration, it will help to reduce clinical waste problem in Malaysia. The incineration will burn the waste under high temperature and turning into the dust. It also collect combustion. The advantages of the incineration is quickly dispose the waste. Meanwhile, the landfill take longer time because of the decay rate of the waste. By fully applying the incineration in Malaysia, it will help to solve the clinical waste treatment in Malaysia. Okay, that's all from me.
Hello everyone, my name is Eng Jia-yu and let me present about the part of discussion for our project. Nowadays, our environment is continuously changing. The current issues such as global warming, pollution, waste disposal, and the other occur and also bring damage to our environment. This issue happen because the society is not particularly concerned about our environment. Besides that, due to the gradual increase of the COVID cases, the clinical waste in our country also increased. To dispose of the clinical waste, we use the incineration process. It is the most efficient way to reduce the volume and weight of clinical waste. For the technology of development country, they use the steam sterilization system to treat the clinical waste. For incineration process, it needs skilled technician to operate the machine. Besides, the fuel supplement problem will influence the efficiency of this process. This process also have its advantages and disadvantages. Based on the finding, we can relate it with the theory of municipal solid waste, MSW. MSW is waste collected by the municipality or disposed of at a municipal waste disposal site. The clinical waste are known as the MSW because they are in category plastic and rubber. From the interview, we know that the clinical waste in our country increased 20 to 70% during the period of MCO. To improve this process based on our analysis, we can use the expert system such as computer information transfer and computer process control technology advanced. The task force for environmental engineer is the vital in minimizing the amount of hazardous chemical generated. Environment engineers are responsible to prevent pollution from human damage as well as defending humanity for any major negative impacts that the environment may cause. The new approach to improve the current system is use waste to energy technology, WTE. It is an energy recovery method that turns waste chemical into useful form of energy. That's all from me and I will pass it to another team member.
Lastly, in a conclusion, the management of clinical waste in Malaysia need to be emphasized because of the possible threat to the environment and human health. Proper treatment and disposal of clinical waste created by hospital and other healthcare organizations and facilities is essential. Other than that, the government has led the charge to regulate clinical waste management through the Schedule Waste Regulation 2005. The established guidelines in handling a range of clinical waste. Other than that, in our field as an engineer, we can create and increase the development of new technologies that could save energy, time and prevent infection, dangerous and radioactive waste from healthcare institutions. That's all from our group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much group number 8 for your presentation. So overall good because you have done the survey on the clinical waste management. Then, sekejap Aduh line saya kenapa pula ni. Saya pakai phone Yeah. Then you also conducted an interview with Mr. Fazil. Betul Mr. Fazil tu company apa? Encik Fazil.
Pegawai KKM.
Oh, okay. Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. So basically memang clinical waste gunakan incineration dengan landfilling
Ya.
Dihantar ke incineration tu. Company mana yang uruskan? Tak tahu.
Kejap.
Okay, tak apa. Ada jawapan dia. Dia ikut lokasi, bukan zone Rasanya dari company yang uruskan lah Betul?
Betul.
Maksud data yang uruskan untuk landfilling incineration ke atau uruskan sisa klinik? Sisa klinik ke?
Itu kat mana? Hospital base ni hantar ke mana? Maksudnya kalau area Batu Pahat punya hospital tu dah hantar ke mana?
Kalau Batu Pahat tak sure je.
Okay lah. Okay, tak apalah. Then, so do you think that the current treatment is effective on the clinical waste? Tak boleh senyap je kena respon. Kalau tidak saya bagi kosong ni maka untuk Q&A.
I think we can improve to incineration method using the incineration method because it saves time and the output is perfect.
Bukannya you dah memang pakai incineration ke? Kombuskan kan?
Tapi kita tak guna banyak lagi.
Oh, okay. Maksudnya? Not enough?
Not enough.
Alright. So technology, so if the current treatment is not effective or lack of efficiency, then what is your suggestion?
Guna WTE.
What is that?
WTE, waste to energy.
Okay, resource recovery. The one is more on the resource recovery. Means from the waste treatment, then we can convert into energy. Why? Memanglah when we conduct resource recovery means we can get something from the waste kan. Mestilah bagus. So we can generate income. Betul?
Macam meningkatkan income dalam negara kita.
Ya, yeah, betul.
Lepas tu jimatkan tempat yang kita melupuskan clinical waste tu.
Betul. Okay, itu saja group number 8 for your presentation. Good okay, thank you so much. Next, group number 9.
Thank you, Doctor.
Can doctor see the screen?
Sekejap saya nak buka saya punya komputer balik macam dah okey lah.
Okay.
Internet. Sekejap Sebabnya yang ni saya guna phone tak nampak sangat. Okay, tak apa, teruskan saja. So you can continue about the schedule waste, ya? Okay.
Can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes.
We are from Group 9. Our project entitled is Schedule Waste Treatment Using Incineration Technology, and these are my group members, and I myself, Lushin Sinivasakan. Next. Introduction. Any waste with hazardous properties and the potential to harm public health and the environment is classified as scheduled waste. And according to our title, incineration is the most common waste to energy treatment method. It is a treatment method that involves the controlled burning of solid waste at high temperatures. It accompanied with heat release as well. Next. So these are three example of incinerators. First, moving grid incinerator. Second, a rotary kiln incinerator, and also fluidized bed incinerator. Next. So the objective of our project is was to provide an overview of solid waste management in Malaysia with a particular focus on incineration, which is the most frequent form of solid waste disposal globally, including in Malaysia. So it is to ensure the protection of the environment through effective waste management measures, to protect the health and well-being of people by providing an affordable waste collection service, and also to promote and ensure the effective delivery of waste services. Next. The problem statement of our project is the cost to dispose the scheduled waste are quite expensive. Improper knowledge on scheduled waste handling can transmit a lot of disease, and also there's no proper disposal mechanism. I will be passing it to my fellow friend.
Thank you, Roshini. Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Daniel Izwan. Now I will continue the presentation for case study. There are some example of incinerator technology around the world. First is Joitsu Clean Center. Joitsu Clean Center in Joitsu, Japan. MSW to be burned at this plant has a lower calorific value (LCV) than MSU in other region of Japan. The steam condition at this facility are superior to those other facility, which is at 5 megapascal and 420 degrees Celsius. The output of 6,290 kilowatt of power from generator result in a generation efficiency of above 20. Next is Clean Plaza at Yokote City, Japan. This is a good example of MSW incinerator since the facility size is quite small, which is 95 tons per day. High temperature and high pressure boiler at condition of 4 megapascal and 400 degrees Celsius are utilized to achieve the planned high efficiency. To enable highly efficiency recovery, the plant must operate a Stoker type incinerator with an air ratio of approximately 12 to 12 or 13 throughout the entire plant. Next, the last one is incinerator operation in Phuket, Thailand. It was constructed in 2009 and has a capacity of 700 tons of MSW per day. In 2011, it was revenue based on incineration capacity of 700 tons per day, operation 320 days per year, and treatment capacity is of 224,000 tons per year. That's all from me. I will pass the presentation to Nge. Thank you.
Okay, so now I want to present about the comparative analysis from other and to amongst other country and Malaysia. So for the technology in other countries, so in 1874, Menlove, Allier and Core Ltd developed the first waste disposal incinerators based on a concept patented by Albert Fryer. So in year 1912, the UK had over 300 incinerator facilities with 76 of them producing electricity. According to the recent studies, incineration is not the most environmentally friendly waste management solution in the 21st century. So the fascinating thing about incineration these days is that people's concern of the pollutant discharge and those trapped in the leftover, as well as the incinerator high economic expenses, have substantially halted the construction of these facilities in both the north and south area. So the nations with heavy trash incineration nonetheless have a larger percentage of recycled and compost garbage than other wealthy countries with fewer incinerators. The claim that incinerator has grown more popular owing to energy recovery is false because of the environmental externalities that come with it, which have a long-term impact on community, social, and economic well-being. So for the technology in Malaysia, so in Malaysia, the subject of establishing incinerator facilities is always front page news. Since many non-governmental organizations, NGOs, oppose the notion due to its negative environmental impact on the population and lack of economic benefits. There are existing small incinerator facilities that built at Pulau Pangkor, which began as shown on 19 March 22. The incinerator has a capacity of 20 tons of garbage each day, but the island generates only 6 to 7 tons per day. Therefore, it is underused and has become a white elephant project. So the main goal of these incinerators was to decrease waste disposal to landfills, which had been the standard approach for a long time. Because of incorrect operation, design error, poor maintenance, and excessive fuel consumption and waste characteristics of these tiny incinerators fuel due to high moisture content of 60% to 70%. They were all created with a Western waste profile in mind. which is significantly different from the Malaysian environment. That's all for me, and I will pass to my next my members.
Thank you, for the explanation. Assalamualaikum and hi. I bid to the lecturer and my fellow classmate. I am Siti Zulaika. So I would like to continue the presentation with result analysis of the project. So this online survey has been conducted using Google Form and has been spread among UTHM students. So for the first question, which is, do you know what is incineration technology? Over 60% respondents are responding yes to this question, which stated that they knew about incineration technology, and the rest stated no as their response. So next question, do you think incineration technology work efficiently in waste treatment? In this part, incineration technology efficiency in waste treatment was being asked. Clearly, 80.6% thought it is efficient and otherwise think it is not efficient in waste treatment category. So the third question is, do you think the incineration technology is the best technology compared with other technology in waste treatment? In this question, the respondent has their own perspective of best technology. So predominantly 61.3% of students agreed to incineration technology to be the best. The rest, which is 32.3% of students, stated no as an answer, and another 3.2 of students stated each as maybe and no. Not just that, 58.1% equal to 80 students have thought that other countries have better and advanced incineration technology. Meanwhile, other 13 respondents have thought that our local country would have advanced technology more than the other countries. Next. Okay, in the next question, the question asks of how to improve the incineration technology, and the pie chart clearly shows that 80% of all students who we have asked, they suggest to improve the incineration technology in Malaysia. However, less than quarter of the students who we asked, that is around 20%, were satisfied about the technology of incineration in Malaysia. Moving on to the next question. The other question asks about what aspect can be improved in Malaysia, and 41.9% of respondents had chosen air pollutants released from the incinerator, while 32.3% answered cause of the incinerator. However, around 25.8% just choose energy required to maintain the incinerator. Moreover, through this survey, 77.4% think that the incineration is a better method compared to landfill, but 22.6% of the respondents disagree with them. Last but not least, the question asks if we can make the incinerator safe, and the pie chart visibly shows that 87.1% of students we asked, they think that we can make incineration safe. However, 12.9% disagree with that, and they think we can't make it safe. So that's all from me. So now I'll pass this presentation to my teammates to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Siti. I am Maya Mansour. I will present the discussion. Waste incineration is the process of totally composting waste while keeping the lowering pollution levels below current emission requirement, and where possible recovering energy and the final combustion leftover. It is also convert the waste into ash, flow gas, and heat. The improvement of incineration technology in Malaysia, despite all the strategy that Malaysia has done to improve the incineration technology, they have to do a new technology to improve the incineration, such as air pollution released from the incinerator, and the cost of the incinerator, and energy requirement to maintain the incinerator. Next. The future of the environment engineer task for the incineration technology. Our Earth requires many environmental engineers who search and innovate new ways to keep it clean and promote and protect the natural life. For the new approach to improve incineration technology, we can improve the incineration technology by we can copy the developer country strategies like Japan, how they do to improve their incineration technology, and we can do some improvement by reduce the and avoid wasting anything that will affect our environment, and reuse the processing that can be reused, recycle everything can be recycled, and try to make things that we can use in our daily life, such as making fertilizer from the waste and using it for the agriculture. Thank you. That's all for me. I will pass for the conclusion part for my for
For the conclusion, as a result, improper waste management procedures clearly have a negative influence on natural environment and long-term development. Lack of a suitable waste management procedure, research findings indicates that there are substantial places with illegal trash disposal methods. Thank you.
Is it done or what?
Yes, Doctor, it's done.
Okay, thank you so much, group number 9, for your presentations on the scheduled waste treatment using the incineration technology.
Yeah.
So well done. So everything's clear, and you have discussed on the 3 case studies overseas that can give input to our current system, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it correct? Okay, then in our country, using the incineration has the side effect to the environment, particularly on the emissions of toxic gases, like dioxin and furan, the toxic gas from the incinerator.
Yeah, got
Uh-huh. So, what do you think? How we can minimize that effect based on your analysis from the advanced technology, right? So, what we can do? Apa yang kita boleh buat to improve our current system?
Doctor, we have to create awareness on incineration method.
Okay, awareness is good, but in terms of the technology, can we improve that part, or it's okay? So we can just monitor the toxic gases or what?
Cannot.
Cannot? Why?
Because
Oh,
the gas is very harmful to the environment. So